Hey everybody, it is Radley here with your energetic weather report for April 30th through May 6th. So I would like you guys to give me a big podcast, mindbodyspirit.fm welcome for my dear friend and angel expert, Joni Light. Hi, Joni.
Hi, everybody. How's everybody today?
Everybody is super cool. And hello also to YouTube if you're watching this visually. So we are going to be doing the energetic weather report, and we are using Angel Wisdom Tarot cards, one of my favorite decks that I have done. And we are using the new format where I pull three cards, and the three cards are basically a conglomeration of what is going on this week. For each card, there is also a clarifying card. Now, if you don't know what a clarifying card is, that's okay. It's basically just a card that gives more information to each specific card. Now, before we do that, as we always do, we're going to pull a card for your Archangel of the week. Now, once again, this is a mashup between my Angel Tarot cards and Archangel Power Tarot cards, Major Arcana. And so this is an intuitive exercise. So whether you are listening or whether you are watching, you are just going to go within and intuitively make a contact and decide if you feel, do you feel a connection to card number one, to card number two, card number three, or card number four? Which one do you feel called to, Joni?
Well, I thought it was two, but when you lifted up three, it's like it just really popped. And so I'm saying three.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see where that takes us in just a moment. So let's move forward for our energetic weather report for April 30th through May 6th. Now, the first card, everybody breathe, is a card that can be a card that feels a little challenging to people. And that card is Three of Air, Three of Air. And so this card talks about great sadness that will heal with time, letting go of the past, personal growth that comes from challenges, healing misunderstanding, and being there for those in need. And so what we have here is a beautiful image with Archangel Azrael, a very beautiful, very loving, very comforting archangel. And he has a woman, and she is wearing a brooch that is a red heart. And behind her, there is a window, and you can tell that it is raining outside. So this is a time of emotional challenge, emotional sadness, a time where she might be trying to work through grief, work through a sense of sorrow for something that has happened in the past. So we're starting the week with a sense of connection to the past that might not yet be fully healed. Card number two, however, is a totally different energy, totally the other direction, and it is the Chariot. And this card says, rewards that come from hard work, successfully balancing many priorities at once, determination and willpower, public recognition. Now, this card, we have Archangel Metatron, and he is in a chariot that is levitating off the ground with one black unicorn and one white unicorn. And there are no reins between him and the unicorns. This chariot is being pulled through sheer will. This is a card that talks about success, being a success because of hard work that has been presented by the person that is driving the chariot. It's also a card that is where we get accolades, where people applaud us for the things that we have accomplished. Finally, the third card for this week is the Page of Earth, the Page of Earth. And this card says scholarly, cheerful, dependable, and mischievous, which are the emotional attributes of the Page of Earth. And it says, time to get to work. An excellent opportunity presents itself. Happy news about your career promotions or scholarships and a new area of study. So this would seem like a very unusual grouping of cards, but for me, intuitively, what I'm getting is that because someone has a sense of emotional sadness from the past, that they are throwing themselves into their work. They are basically putting themselves in this place of, I know that is there. I'm aware that it is there. I'm not negating that it is there. However, I have processed that for a little bit now, and now I need to focus on something else. And so I am going to put all of my energy and all of my determination into my absolute solid willpower to be a success in some other aspect of my life. That I am going to, if it, pardon the pun, take the reins of my life. Now, granted, there are no reins in this card, but take the reins and go giddy up with these unicorns and go to the next level. Now, before I go to the third card, I think that it bears noting that we are talking about the lack of reins in a card as related to a card that shows that it is clearly pouring down rain in the other card. So we are taking the rain that is pouring down and turning it into a different kind of rains, raining forward, raining in our sadness in order to, through our willpower, go to the next place. Now that takes us to the page of Earth. Time to get to work, an excellent opportunity, happy news, a new area of study. And so we take this energy and we look at it and say, okay, I know all of this, but what else do I know? Or what else do I want to know? The page of Earth is has a notorious desire to learn something new, to take that and fold that into the career, to fold that into, and it doesn't have to be career, but fold it into the other aspect of our lives. Now, before I even discuss clarifying cards, what are your thoughts, Joni?
Well, but it's kind of the story of my life you just told with those three cards. And I think that because we're still in Mercury retrograde, I have been getting a lot of downloads, angelic downloads, that this is a time of great releasing, and this is a perfect access to Archangel Jophiel, because that's her strength, is to come in and beautify your thoughts, lift you out of the emotions that are holding you kind of in a dark place, and move you forward with joy and happiness. And that is so important. And she is ever present. And I know archangels don't really have gender, but she appears to me as female. And it's that beautiful pink fuchsia I wore today in honor of her.
You can't tell, but me too. Looks very red, but it really
is. But she also beams from the heart chakra, this beautiful yellow light that just kind of shines on the light. So she's shining on a light, a new path for you. And here it is, it's opening up, you're leaving behind, you're releasing all that sadness, and she's going to elevate you and move you forward. And it's really wonderful that Metatron showed up, because she and Metatron are best friends. They work together. And so Metatron can help you take the reins where Jophiel has lifted you up into the chariot to move forward.
I love that. I love that. Jophiel is buoying us up so that Metatron can help us have the power.
Yes, and if you think about it, the unicorns are flying, they're up in the air. So Jophiel is lifting you up out of that, layer where you feel like you're kind of stuck. I call it like wading through molasses. You're up out of that, you're in the chariot, you're ready to go. And the page of Earth is like, do the work, honey, show up and do the work, because you're moving forward and it's coming. All those accolades that you've been working for.
I agree. So let's talk a little bit about those clarifying cards because they really bear out the story. So the clarifying card for 3 of air, remember that's the card that's sort of like the card of sadness, the card of feeling emotionally
Mhm.
damaged, trying to heal from that. The card that is a clarifying card for that, wow, you can't make this stuff up. Eight of fire. And so
Wow.
Eight of Fire is all this activity. It's like tons and tons of activity, and it can feel a little stressful because it's so much, but it's
Mhm.
usually a card of so much positive stuff. And so that whole message that we got from the Chariot card from with Metatron about I'm throwing myself into all of this activity is that this clarifying card of 3 of air is, yeah, do that. It's literally a card saying, I agree, do that. Make yourself busy with other things. Make
Right.
yourself busy with the things of life that bring you, as you said, joy. Go
Absolutely.
for those things. Go for that. The clarifying card for the Chariot is Queen of Air. Now, Queen of Air is undeniably my favorite court card. And it says, brilliant, experienced, humorous, and she's a little judgmental, not judging. Releasing situations, right?
Mhm. Absolutely.
Or people that no longer serve you, seeing the humor in difficult situations, focusing on career, divorced or unmarried individuals. So it's like we've got this whole element of, yeah, it's like once again, letting go of that old stuff,
Mhm.
trying to see the humor in the challenging stuff. Because we have this queen and she's literally sitting on a throne that is built with blue butterflies in it. And she has a sword lifted up, and that sword has a blue butterfly on it. So we literally have the sharp edge, and we have the evolution, the metamorphosis that came from the sharp edge, literally gently laying on the top of it unharmed. And so this is our way of like bringing forth that energy of the Chariot from our sadness and doing so in a way that there is metamorphosis and we come out unharmed. Now, the clarifying card for the Page of Earth is the Hermit. So the Hermit, people think about the Hermit as being alone, but the Hermit really isn't alone. The Hermit is standing on top of a hill with a lantern, as this one is. And he is holding the lantern out, waiting for people to come up the hillside behind to meet him, because he's the mentor. He's here to teach. And so we had that whole Page of Earth element of what else do I need to know? And yet it is buoyed up by the literal mentor himself to say, here's your education, here's the stuff you want, but it's really about you teaching it. And it's really, I'm going to say, to humor you, because you don't actually need to know anything else. And perhaps the teaching that needs to be happening is the teaching that you bring to the table. So do you have thoughts about the clarifying cards that you want to say?
Um, I see, if you notice there, also with the Queen of Air, it's about elevation. It's also about being elevated.
You're right.
And
Yep.
the Hermit, on the Hermit card, it's like, okay, so you're moving on. The original card talked about scholarly, maybe studying more. And I see the Hermit as finding that wise mentor or teacher. And the thing that popped in my head was that old saying, when the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Right.
But it works the other way around too. When the teacher is ready, the students appear. So it's like both,
Brilliant.
it's
Brilliant.
going in both directions. So you're learning, but you're also teaching by learning.
Yep, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So let's look at these personal archangels of the week. If you were drawn to card number 1, then you were drawn to the Lover's card, which is Archangel Raphael. So Raphael is the card of physical healing. Some people say emotional. I tend to give that to somebody else, but let's go with either one. But it's healing. He's also the archangel of travel and the archangel of romantic relationships, because he's a bit of a matchmaker. So if you're feeling like you need the healing, here he is. Now, Card number 2, if you were drawn to that, you were drawn to the World card with Archangel Michael. Now, this is the first card that Joni was sort of like thinking, I think I'm drawn to card number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Michael is about safety, he's about protection, but he's about life purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget that. That's a really big deal. Now, Joni decided, I don't feel I don't feel connected to card number 2. I feel more connected to card number 3. Now, remember, this is a mashup of 2 different decks, right? So card number 3 happens to be, and you don't make this stuff up, the World with Archangel Michael, just from the other deck.
Mm-hmm.
So Joni actually pulled the same card, the same angel twice. So very much the image, very much the energy of her being drawn to Michael and that whole thing of safety, protection, life, purpose. And finally, if you were drawn to card number 4, then you're drawn to the Empress with Archangel Gabriel. Gabriel is communication, motivation, creativity, one of my favorite archangels, but that makes sense because I'm a writer and I travel and I'm Sag. And so, there it is. But if those are the things that you feel that you need in order to really bring forth the energies of this week's energetic weather report, then you pulled the right card with card number 4. So that is our energetic weather report for April 30th through May 6th. Thank you, Joni, so much for helping me with the energetic weather report.
Very welcome. I'm happy to be here.
And speaking of being here, Joni is going to be with me this week on the Angel Tarot Show. And she is going to be talking about her favorite archangel, who is
Archangel Jophiel.
That's right. We're talking about the joy of Jophiel this week on the Angel Tarot Show podcast for mindbodyspirit.fm, but also to be watched on YouTube. And also, don't forget, I have a special sale happening this week. You can find it at radleyvalentine.com/springtime because it's our springtime sale. And it includes a course that I taught on angel wisdom tarot cards, where we literally go card by card by card by card by card. But there's also some other stuff in there for you to check out, including quite the surprise. radleyvalentine.com/springtime. All right, guys, have a great week. I'll see you next week. And don't miss this week's episode of the Angel Tarot Show.